On World News Tonight this Friday, the man who advised the independent counsel Kenneth Starr about ethics resigns very publicly. The insurance company which abandoned its clients when they became too expensive. That's what the jury says. And a mammoth project with mammoth problems. The U.S. and the International Space Station. We'll take a closer look.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. We're going to begin in Washington tonight, where a single lawyer may have done the kind of damage to the independent counsel Kenneth Starr today that 16 Democratic congressmen and the president's lawyer didn't quite manage to do yesterday. Mr. Starr's ethics advisor, Sam Dash, has resigned his position in protest. He accuses Mr. Starr of exceeding his authority when he appeared before the House Judiciary Committee yesterday as Mr. Dash put it, an aggressive advocate. Mr. Dash has standing in the Washington establishment, and today for Democrats in the Congress, he was something of a savior. Here's ABC's Jackie Judd.
Sam Dash accused Kenneth Starr of using his appearance before the Judiciary Committee to become an aggressive advocate for the impeachment of President Clinton rather than simply informing Congress of the evidence. In a stinging letter of resignation, Dash wrote to Starr that he had violated his obligations under the independent counsel statute and unlawfully intruded on the power of impeachment, which belongs only to Congress.
And an independent counsel cannot let himself get caught up in a political process, particularly as an advocate for the evidence on impeachment.
Starr defended himself, saying even though he had described allegedly impeachable offenses by the president, he never advised the committee on how it should vote.
I tried to say yesterday several times, and I hope I said it, that this is your judgment. I've given you the information, and you've invited me to come forward.
Starr hired Dash shortly after being named independent counsel 4 years ago. In Dash, he found a Democrat with impeccable credentials as an advisor on ethics, who had made his name as chief counsel to the Senate Watergate Committee. It was Dash who advised Starr he could keep his private law practice going while independent counsel, and he had a role in brokering the immunity deal for Monica Lewinsky. ABC News has learned that Dash has been under pressure for some time from Democrats supportive of the White House to drop Starr in a very public way. The timing of Dash's sudden resignation is a particular blow to Starr. Whatever ground he may have gained yesterday may well have been lost today. Jackie Judd, ABC News, Washington.
Tobacco companies making news today. 46 states have agreed unanimously to a deal with the tobacco industry. It's the largest civil settlement in U.S. history, $206 billion. It includes payments to resolve individual state lawsuits filed to get back the costs of treating sick smokers. And there are also going to be limits on cigarette advertising. Joe Camel will end by April of next year, and billboards will come down as well. There's been another warning for Microsoft today. Now it's the Japanese trade regulators who say that Microsoft has been violating Japan's anti-monopoly laws. Been a bad week for Microsoft and for its CEO, Bill Gates. First, a federal judge ordered the company to change its Windows 98 operating system or take it off the market. And now the testimony of Mr. Gates himself in a major suit by the government against his company is at the center of a very bitter argument. Here's ABC's Terry Moran.
It was an ominous signal for Microsoft, a pointed response yesterday from the court to Microsoft's complaints that the government is being unfair in repeatedly playing excerpts from Bill Gates' videotape deposition. If anything, I think your problem is with your witness, not with the way in which his testimony is being presented, Judge Thomas Penfield Jackson said. I find it very effective. This is the kind of testimony the judge is talking about.
I don't know what you mean concerned.
What is it about the word concerned that you don't understand?
In a trial tactic that seems to have taken Microsoft by surprise, the Justice Department is driving home each of its charges against the company with telling excerpts from Gates' testimony, essentially turning Gates into a witness against his own company. The Bill Gates Judge Jackson sees on tape is evasive, annoyed, out of the loop, a far cry from the hands-on business revolutionary of Microsoft legend.
Since that question is that you don't have an answer to. You don't have an answer to that question. Let me put a different question. No, I have an answer. The answer is I don't remember.
The judge has been seen to laugh in court while he watches Gates' testimony. But will the tactic win the case?
Credibility matters in a case like this. Did Bill Gates really undertake some of the things that some of the witnesses are saying?
Gates himself dismisses the use of his testimony as a dirty trick by government lawyers.
They don't show my whole deposition. They show these tiny little pieces.
There is one way for Microsoft to fight back: call Bill Gates as a witness, something the company has said it has no intention of doing. Terry Moran, ABC News, New York.
In Arizona this week, the case of the insurance company and the hit list. Here's the plot as they put it to the jury. An insurance company has financial troubles, and so it sets out to get rid of some policyholders, the expensive ones, the ones with the disability claims. ABC's Brian Rooney reports from Phoenix.
Ron Diamond was a practicing dentist until he developed carpal tunnel syndrome in his wrists, which left him unable to use his instruments. So he filed for disability benefits with General American Insurance and trained for a new profession, repairing medical electronics. But after several years, General American cut him off, saying he was no longer eligible.
I trusted totally in my local agent.
And the insurance company?
And the insurance company, yes.
3 years later, a lawyer told Diamond his name had turned up on a secret list compiled by General American. 58 clients, each owed disability payments of $100,000 or more.
The only criteria for being a member of this particular club was that your claim represented too significant a liability to the company.
The lawyers argued that the company's own documents show that to make up for losses in disability insurance, General American targeted the 58 on that list to buy them out cheaply, intimidate, and cut them off. One memo says about a client, if he doesn't accept a buyout, we should deny further benefits. A memo from one executive talks about secrecy and destroying memos, quote, if litigation would ever develop. William Wazinski of Michigan, who suffered lifelong back and eye injuries in a car accident, was told he's no longer disabled.
I mean, there's people out there that got conned out of their money and they don't even know about it.
Trust us, we'll protect you. And when people do trust, it's much easier to betray them.
The jury came back with a stunning decision in favor of Dr. Diamond, $1 million in damages, and $58 million more to punish General American Insurance. It'll be years before he sees a penny. General American, which declined an interview, is appealing. Brian Rooney, ABC News, Phoenix.
In a moment, a worldwide people smuggling ring. Guess where they wanted to come.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by DirecTV.
55. What'll it be?
We'll take some rice and get some Favre, too.
Yeah. Now you can choose which teams you see every Sunday with DirecTV and NFL Sunday Ticket. There's up to 13 regular season games a week.
Price check on Favre.
Hey, Brett. Hey, John.
So stock up on all your favorites. NFL Sunday Ticket. It's not on cable. See it on DirecTV. So what are you looking at?
Get the last 6 weeks of NFL Sunday Ticket free when you get DirecTV.
When your allergies are a nightmare, you need fast relief. You need the power of Zyrtec. Prescription Zyrtec starts working fast and lasts 24 hours. So when allergies are a nightmare, remember the power of Zyrtec. In studies, drowsiness was the most common side effect. Other side effects included fatigue and dry mouth. Most were mild or moderate. To learn more, ask your doctor or pharmacist.
Great meal. Uh-oh, gas pressure. What now? What else? Gas-X, with the most powerful medicine for fast relief. Nothing works faster.
Hey, want to go for ice cream?
Gas-X, the power to fight gas fast.
In Washington today, the Immigration and Naturalization Service says it has cracked the largest immigrant smuggling ring in U.S. history. After a year-long investigation called Operation Seek and Keep, the INS has arrested 21 people and uncovered a complex global operation. Here's ABC's Bob Woodruff.
At stash houses in the United States and at this one in the Bahamas, federal agents found illegal immigrants packed into small rooms.
From Russia?
Bags of false passports and piles of airline tickets. In the past 3 years, the Immigration and Naturalization Service believes 12,000 Indians have been smuggled into the U.S. by 3 related international organizations. Human trafficking, they say, has become a multi-billion-dollar industry.
They are being smuggled in by well-organized, well-financed international criminal networks.
According to federal officials, the illegal immigrants were flown from India to Moscow to Cuba. From there, they would pass either through the Bahamas into Miami or through Ecuador and Mexico into Texas. The trip cost $20,000 to $25,000 each, paid either by families or the employer waiting in the U.S.
These illegal aliens were ordered by unscrupulous businesses that wanted cheap labor and wanted labor that basically had to take whatever conditions they had.
Federal officials would not say what kinds of businesses were using these smuggled aliens because they have not yet tracked them all down. But they say there are thousands of leads. Bob Woodruff, ABC News, Washington.
The United States is worried tonight that Iraq is not cooperating with UN weapons inspectors. The Iraqis have objected to UN requests for documents about their weapons programs. They say that some documents do not exist and that they have already submitted others. Elsewhere in the Middle East, there was one of those moments we do not often see. The Israelis and the Palestinians made an agreement, and at least for now it has worked out. The Israelis have given back a small portion of the West Bank, roughly the size of the city of Chicago. There was one last haggle over maps. It was a good day, however, for Palestinians, but for some Jewish settlers, it was another reason to be bitter. Here's ABC's Gillian Finley.
They make their way under cover of darkness. Israeli soldiers have orders to stop them. They are Jewish settlers from the town of Kadimim, and they're staking out new land. It's land Palestinians say is theirs and should at the very least be the subject of negotiations. But the settlers insist the land belongs to Israel.
We were longing for this land for 2,000 years. It belongs to us, and we're going to fight over it.
That's essentially what Israel's foreign minister has told them to do. Earlier this week, Ariel Sharon advised settlers to, quote, run and grab more hills before they become Palestinian territory. Settlers call the new clusters of trailers that have been popping up on hilltops extensions of existing settlements. But some of them are miles away, and Palestinians say that's a provocation. There's already been violence. These clashes were over a new road Israel is building in the West Bank, one of a dozen that will allow settlers to bypass Palestinian villages. The problem is, to do it, Israel is confiscating Palestinian land. This woman says these olive trees were in her family for generations. An Israeli bulldozer uprooted them in only minutes. After the Kadimim settlers spent their first night in the hills, Israeli soldiers detained them and ordered them not to go back. But each night they have gone back and will continue to go, they say, as a warning to their government not to give too much away. Gillian Finley, ABC News, Kadimim.
When we come back, on the money, a very big threat to the U.S. economy, a very deep hole in Japan.
If you could leave just a little bit over at every meal, it would really add up.
Imagine what you could avoid eating in a single month. If you're significantly overweight, 30 pounds or more, depending on height, your doctor has something that may help you eat less.
It's called Meridia, and it can help you lose weight and keep it off. You've got to do your part. You've got to do your part with diet and exercise. But Meridia can help.
Meridia is a prescription medicine, and it's not for everyone. It can substantially raise blood pressure, and it's not for people who are pregnant or nursing, under 16, or taking anything else for weight loss, depression, Parkinson's disease, migraines, or for people with anorexia, glaucoma, or serious heart problems. Side effects may include headache, constipation, insomnia, and dry mouth. It's a controlled substance, so patients who abuse Meridia may become dependent. For more information, ask your doctor or call 1-888-4-MERIDIA.
I'm ready.
Meridia. You do your part, we'll do ours.
At Transamerica, we have insurance products and investments for retirement that'll help you plan for your next career. The people in the pyramid, working for you.
Alero by Oldsmobile. Now with special 3.9 financing for $1,600 in average finance savings. Alero by Oldsmobile. Start something.
When you qualify for benefits with Transamerica Long-Term Care Insurance, you can make yourself at home. Because you can still live at home. The people in the pyramid working for you.
On the money tonight, there will not be a pilot strike at Federal Express until after the busy holiday shopping season, if there is one at all. There was that threat, but the pilot said today they will not strike for at least 60 days. The upward momentum continued on Wall Street today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was up more than 103 points to close at 91.59. On the NASDAQ, stocks were up more than 8 points. But money's getting tighter for some. We learned today that a third of U.S. banks are still concerned enough about the future of the economy that they are using tougher standards for lending to businesses. In Tokyo today, President Clinton was focused on Japan's economy. Mr. Clinton urged Japan to vigorously implement reform in its banking system. There is some urgency to this, and the Japanese know it. The Japanese banking crisis is a big concern for the U.S. Exactly, however, what is the problem? ABC's Robert Krulwich and his explanation.
We all know what banks in trouble look like because we've seen them, well, in Frank Capra movies like American Madness.
Look at them, Mr. Dixon, they're going crazy.
Depositors in a panic trying to get their money out. Of course, in any real bank, you want to know not what's happening in the lobby, but what's going on in the back room, where the owners of the bank should have what is called a capital account. Think of it as a pile of money. It's not the depositor's money, it's the bank's money that the bank must have on hand just in case borrowers don't pay back their loans. Well, as it happens during the Asian boom, lots of folks all over Asia borrowed from Japanese banks. And when that boom ended, lots of them didn't pay their loans back. Japanese banks have lost so much money, close to $1 trillion worth. Where there was once a pile, there is now a hole.
A very deep hole. A hole so deep that it would size up to about a quarter of the total income earned per year in Japan.
No.
I'm not making it up.
But don't worry, says the Japanese government, your deposits are insured. Well, remember when we had our savings and loan crisis 10 years ago?
We understand this is an unsettling event.
Our deposits were also insured by our government, but in the end, even though we closed hundreds of S&Ls, taxpayers still had to pay the bill. $125 billion extra dollars. That was roughly 2% of our national income. In Japan, their banks have lost 25% of their nation's income, and they're still losing money.
We've never seen anything like 20 to 30% of national income lost in a banking system.
And what happens if these Japanese taxpayers have to pay, say, $1 trillion to keep their banks going? Well, then their economy, already in a deepening recession, could slip into something worse, a depression. And we in America, though we don't like to admit it, we can't afford to lose too much Japanese business, because if Japan gets much poorer, and it's starting to, they will pay the price, yes, but so will we. Robert Krulwich, ABC News.
One other note about Asia. In California this week, how time marches on, the San Jose Mercury News is going to publish a Vietnamese edition. 25 years after the end of the war in Vietnam, 100,000 Vietnamese Americans live in the neighborhood. In the moment, a first big step for the biggest space project ever, but will it be the only step?
T-Bone! Looking for a T-Bone. Chewy, meaty T-Bone. At the big T-Bone store. There's one. No, that's not one. Over there. No, over on the shelf. Oh, too green. Wait a minute there. Oh, package of little chewy, meaty T-Bone steaks. I'm waking up.
Mama brought you some T-Bone dog snacks.
Made with real meat, so dogs think it's a T-Bone. Resealable T-Bones brand from Purina. Dogs don't know it's not a T-Bone. It's a T-Bone.
Tylenol House Call. Information for healthy living.
Well, it started in my hand. Now I feel it in my knee.
Kay Cook is one of over 20 million Americans with osteoarthritis, the most common form of arthritis. Researchers have discovered that the pain and stiffness of osteoarthritis are not caused from inflammation, as once thought, but from the gradual wearing down of cartilage, the shock-absorbing tissue in the joints.
I was surprised when the doctor told me it wasn't inflammation.
If you have osteoarthritis, what should you do? Experts recommend exercise for strength and flexibility. And if you have pain, experts recommend the medicine in Tylenol Arthritis Extended Relief first. Tylenol Arthritis works up to twice as long as regular aspirin without the risk of stomach irritation.
I have arthritis, but I don't let it stop me.
If you have the symptoms of arthritis, talk to your doctor. You can get relief.
Tylenol House Call is brought to you by Extra Strength Tylenol.
Thanks, Dad.
You can't do this with Caravan.
Thanks.
You can't do this with Voyager.
Thanks, Pop.
A little help? The Chevy Venture is available with a remote control sliding side door. So you can get more done and have more fun.
Get up to $1,500 cash back or 0.9% APR on a Chevy Venture. See your dealer today.
Chevy Venture. Let's go.
This town counts on me. No time to get slowed down by irregularity. My doctor suggested Metamucil, the only leading brand with 100% natural fiber.
Keeps me regular gently so I can keep up.
Metamucil, the doctor's natural choice for regularity.
We're going to take a closer look tonight at what is supposed to be a brand new, exciting, daring, good for mankind era in space. Yes, note the superlatives. They are all in jeopardy. At the Baikonur rocket base in Kazakhstan this morning, the Russians launched the very first part of what is supposed to be the new International Space Station. What went up today is supposed to be the power and communications component for the early stages of the space station's construction. But as of tonight, that's about as good as it gets. This is primarily a U.S.-Russian effort, and it may be falling apart on the issues of money and pride. Here's ABC's Ned Potter.
It is so large you will be able to see it from Earth. It will be longer than the Statue of Liberty is tall, and it will have more space inside than two 747s. It will take 5 years and 90 launches by the U.S. and Russia to get all the parts into orbit.
It's going to be tough. It's not going to be pretty. But we are going to have a real international space station, not a Western Bloc space station.
But for the Russians, the new station is not a beginning, it's the end of an era. Remember that Russia's battered old space station Mir is still up there after 14 years, and the Russians would like to keep it going. But they cannot afford to make launches both to the new station and the old, so they are supposed to send Mir crashing into the Pacific Ocean next summer.
Still a national pride issue. We're not telling them, hey, you got to kill Mir, get that thing out of here. We're saying we're concerned because we're not seeing the evidence that they can support both.
Losing Mir would be yet another blow to Russia's status as a superpower. It always made Russia different from the smaller countries it wanted to impress. Russia's cosmonauts will not like answering to Americans on the new space station. Anatoly Solovyev, the most experienced spacewalker in history, is retiring rather than be second in command.
What the space station has done is to basically rein in everyone else's space programs into a subservient position to the United States.
Though the U.S. is in charge of the new station, involving 16 countries where 12 languages are spoken, Russia's the biggest partner, and America cannot solve its money troubles. A case in point. 2 weeks from now, the U.S. shuttle Endeavour will bring up a second station component, and then the whole project will grind to a halt for at least 6 months. Because the next part, from Russia, has been sitting unfinished for 2 years for lack of funds.
The station's a very complex structure, and it'll take years and years to finish it. It may never be finished.
Never be finished? Some at NASA concede that may happen, but to them, even a partly complete station could support some work by astronauts. Never in peacetime has a building project like this been mounted, and nobody said it would be easy. Ned Potter, ABC News, Johnson Space Center, Houston.
When we come back, the right way to talk to the cows. Les vaches.
I often get asked, what type of investor am I?
I want answers now. If I get the information today, I can act upon it. I can get the First Call report, the Argus report, the Vickers report. If Home Depot drops below a particular price, I want to be notified. If I wanted to buy, sell, or sell short, I just click on the option. Certainly, I'm not the same type of investor I was when I was 30, when I was 40, or when I was 50. I can go on.
Nobody does it like you.
A revolving brush or 5 rotating brushes. A manual hand tool or one powered with 2 more brushes. The choice is easy.
Nobody
Steam Vac Ultra.
does it like you.
Enterprise rent a car for my trip? Looks expensive.
It's not expensive, Mom.
They pick us up? Sounds expensive.
Pickup's free, Mom.
Well, if it's not expensive, why didn't I get a convertible?
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
I can eat corn on the cob, and I can eat the apples, as long as I've got Super Polygrip on these dentures. I know that it works. I mean, it holds my teeth in place. Using the Super Polygrip, I can continue auctioneering. Bid 35 and now bid 40, now 5, 45 and now bid.
The party's in there, so why am I out here? Gas. Again.
Maximum Strength Phazime has 33% more medicine doctors recommend.
One little pill, and I'm back.
Serious medicine for serious gas. Phazime.
Tonight, the cruelest of telemarketing schemes. You've lost money to a phone swindler. Then you get ripped off by someone promising to recover it.
It just was devastating to me. It still is. I can't get over it.
Protect yourself. 2020 tonight.
Finally, from us this evening, a word about language. How do you say buyer beware in French? We feel a little sorry for Malcolm Pierce. He's an English farmer, and even though the English never have liked the French, he bought a herd of French cows at auction in France for his farm in England. It seems the French cows produce more protein in their milk. The trouble is that when Malcolm calls the cows to be milked, the French cows ignore him. Yes, it turns out French cows feel the same way about the English language that the French government does.
Allez, on y va.
So meet Olivier, whose French is excellent.
It just seemed natural to me that they should be looked after by somebody who speaks to them in French. And my schoolboy French isn't any good anymore.
The French government would be very pleased with this.
In French, I would say, venez vite les filles, c'est l'heure de la traite. Come on, girl, it's milking time. Viens, vite, viens, là-bas, viens!
Sounds good to us. That's our report on World News Tonight. Don't forget 2020 later on, and on Lightline this evening, they will be taking up the issue of the Japanese banking crisis again. I'm Peter Jennings. We hope you have a good weekend. Good night.
Stay with ABC News this weekend. Sunday, a new way to solve a big problem for police, the excessive use of force. Watch ABC's World News Tonight, Sunday.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABC News, now always on.
People magazines